Four Lies.
Welcome to BodyBags. It's week 134 here on the channel. It's Saturday. I'm OUTSIDER365, and hello, everybody. The movie I'm going to be talking about this week is from 2007, directed by Adam Mason, and it's called The Devil's Chair. If you haven't seen it, what's it all about, Dave? Well, searching for twisted thrills, Nick West, played by Andrew Howard from the movie Revolver, takes his girlfriend to an abandoned mental hospital to drop acid. But when his date sits on a mysterious chair, she's mutilated, and her body is dragged into an unforeseen demonic black hole. When Nick tells his horrifying tale to the police, he's deemed criminally insane and locked away. Now, 4 years later, a brilliant psychology professor and his students return to the crime scene with the accused killer, searching for the truth behind the terrifying occult mystery in this blood-drenched supernatural shocker, The Devil's Chair. So, the movie starts out with the guy Andrew, and he's with his girlfriend, and they're just kind of walking around, hanging around, and no, I'm fucking wrong. Before that starts, he's like sitting smoking. There's a kind of a shadow of him, and he's in a room, and he's kind of just talking about all the stuff that's going to happen, and you know, he kind of gives you the backstory very quickly with clips of the movie in it already. And I don't fucking like when movies do that, when they show you stuff that's going to happen in it already, because then you're waiting for those scenes. You know what I mean? So that starts off with him narrating it, and then you cut to a shot of him walking around with the girlfriend, and he's narrating again about who she is, and she's a slut and all this stuff, and they're going to do this, and you know, and you know, he's just talking about all this stuff, and then they go into the abandoned Blackwater Asylum, and you know, instead of getting it on like what they were talking about the whole time, all they're going to do is have sex. He's like, let's drop acid instead. So they drop acid, then they start fooling around, and upstairs they find this creepy looking chair, which is that chair, but you can't really see it because he's sitting on it. But it's this kind of cross between some kind of electric chair and some kind of torture or bondage kind of looking thing. And she sits on the chair, and then, as it says, no spoiler here because it's on the back of the fucking DVD, the chair fucking mutilates her and all this, and she kind of disappears, vanishes, and then she's in this alternate kind of room, kind of Hellraiser room, you know, where the light shines through the cracks in the wall and all that, and that's the lighting of the room. And then, yeah, it's 4 years later, and he's locked up in an asylum, deemed criminally insane, and this doctor, as it says, he decides that he wants to take him to treat, not just treat him, but he wants to write a book about the incident and stuff. So he's kind of got financing and all this, and the doctors agreed to release this murderer back to the crime scene to help them understand why he might have done it. So he comes with two female students and a male student. The male student is played by Matt Berry, who's a comedian. He's been in Garth Marenghi's Dark Places, and he's been a bunch of fucking shows I like. But he's a funny actor. The IT Crowd. He's in the fucking IT Crowd, and he's in some other thing. But Matt Berry's really good. And he's the kind of comedy relief in this, and he has some funny lines, and then half the movie he kind of says what we're thinking, like what I just said there about, you know, I think the line he says that, does anyone find it fucking strange that we're going back to a murder site with the murderer, you know, and we're going to spend the weekend with him, which is mad, you know. It's kind of shades of that, Camp Blood 2, you know, where they do that you know, but as a movie maker, he's allowed to take a suspect back to the crime scene with no police protection or security or anything. They're just brought back because it's going to be fine, you know. So yeah, they bring him back, and then, you know, they're trying to the doctor's played by, what's his name? The doctor is played by David Gant, who does a very, very overacted Shakespearean theatrical, you know, I'm beginning to tire of your foolishness. He keeps kind of shouting things like that to Matt Berry as he's making all the jokes, and, you know, all that kind of overacting and stuff like that, which is kind of good because the rest of the cast, including the star Andrew Howard. The acting's okay. I mean, it's B-movie horror acting and stuff. But at the start of the movie, the dialogue and even the narration is really kind of mumbled. And the music that's kind of kicked in is like kind of metal and stuff. It's really loud. And then when it comes back, when he's talking with the girlfriend, they are just kind of mumbling. You know, it's not clear. I have to really, really put the volume up to kind of go, you know, what the fuck are they saying? And then the score would hit in with all the heavy, you know, music in it. And it's like, fuck, you know, turn back down and stuff. So that's the gist of the movie without giving the entire fucking story play by play away. We've seen this kind of story before. It's not really... I've seen or read other reviews of this where they said it's quite an original story. It's not really. There's a lot of movies like this where they take the killer back to the scene of the crime and see if he's crazy and things start happening and all that. So it cuts... So, you know, you have people, you know, they all want to sit in the chair, of course, and, you know, things happen to some of them without going into too much detail. And then... my overall opinion of this movie, which is what this video is, just my opinion, is as I said, the story is not that original. The acting is funny because it's really kind of bland and except for David Gant, who's really, really kind of just, you know, pushing the room up. Him and Matt Berry are like the two, you know, the movie could have just been them, maybe, but. That's kind of it. There's really no suspense building or anything in this at all. It does drag the movie, you know. It really, really drags. There's a couple of false endings, and then the actual ending just seemed to take for fucking ever to end. You know, it just went on and on and on and on, and it was like, fuck it, just end. You know. And then when it did, the ending was a bit, you know, okay, you know, but. Gore-wise and stuff like that, I guess it's pretty good. Some of the gore scenes are good in it. The image that appears in it that's meant to be the devil is kind of all right, you know, a bit monsterish and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, leading up to the end, there is a bit of a gore thing. The constant narration, well, it's not constant. It kind of takes a break in the middle and then it comes back. It's just a bit annoying because I don't like movies that have the actor in it. And he's narrating, you know, like the whole thing. It just gets a bit annoying. It was like too much, you know. If there was little bits of it, it could be okay. But I thought there was way too much fucking narration. And towards the end as well, when the action bits come, this mad fucking lines are delivered, you know, this shit that was written into it where Andrew is like, or Nick, you know, the character, is like, fucking shouting at the audience, I guess, you know, because he's calling us, you know, gore whores and fright, whatever the fuck. But he's like, fuck you, and you thirst for blood. You want to fucking, you know, and he really goes into one. And it's like, whoa, you know. I'm trying to think of another movie where it's being narrated and then, you know, the character just loses it and starts swearing and fucking telling the audience to fuck itself, and you know. But it is what it is. It's not a terrible movie, you know. My overall scoring on it would be, you know, 2007. The Devil's Chair. That's my. What did I leave out? The music. The music's okay. It kind of goes between, as I said, that heavy metal stuff that was at the start, and then it goes into, I think it's Mortis and somebody else did some of the music, but it's kind of like. Some acoustic kind of bits, and then some kind of like cello apocalyptica, if you know that band, you know, that kind of stuff, which you know, is what it is. Anyway, that's my thoughts and opinions on The Devil's Chair. Thanks a lot for checking out the review, guys. Back next week with another one. Have a good one. Take care. Bye bye now.